Aisha, I don't tire. You see, this country, there's nobody that will listen to you. Nobody will hear your voice. You say, speak out. I want to speak out.
Maggie, your freedom of expression is guaranteed either online or offline.
Online, in this country, Nigeria.
Maggie, your freedom of expression is something that is protected. It is yours. You can express yourself.
I don't agree with you. I don't.
Everywhere I navigate, I'm accosted with phonemes of fair hearing, freedom of expression here, freedom of expression there. I am the government. Your freedom of expression is to the extent that I guarantee you. You have a freedom of expression to the extent that it is in alignment with what I want. Yes, you may be guaranteed freedom of expression, but your freedom after expression is what you don't know about. You're gonna learn. You're gonna learn the hard way.
Freedom of expression. Freedom of expression is a fundamental and inherent right enjoyed by every citizen of Nigeria. It is a right enshrined in Section 39 of the Constitution, which states that every citizen has a right to freedom of expression. He has a right to receive and impart ideas, share opinions and information without any form of interference from the government of the state. Your right to freedom of expression is a fundamental and core right because it is a right in which all other fundamental rights revolves around. That is your right to personal liberty, your right to fair hearing, your right to dignity of human persons cannot be fully expressed without your right to freedom of expression. Thus, making the right to freedom of expression a core and fundamental right that must be enjoyed by every citizen of Nigeria and must be given full expression in our democratic society, especially like Nigeria. Though it must be done within the confines and limitations found in our laws. However,
freedom of expression has faced a lot of setbacks online. In 2017, a journalist named Charles Otu was severely beaten for criticizing the Ebonyi State government on Facebook. In 2021, the Nigerian government banned the use of Twitter because the platform removed the comments of the president that was said to incite violence. In 2020, when we had the End-VSL protest, protesters who took their protests online faced some actions from the government like surveillance, freezing of bank accounts, and arrest. The Cybercrime Act 2015 has also been used to arrest and detain journalists. In 2020, a journalist named Agbajalingo was arrested and detained for criticizing the Cross River State governor on Facebook. In 2022, Omoyele Soreye was also harassed and detained for comments he made online. In the recent case of Ushirita Umugaye, also known as Raye, is not an exception to this. She was a core member who came on TikTok, made a video talking about the hardships that she faced as a Nigerian, and what did she get in return? NYSC threatened her to bring down that video with a lot that was attached to that whole scenario. This is just a drop in the ocean of a plethora of cases whereby freedom of expression online has been violated.
Freedom of expression, they very, very important. And me, I want to tell you some of this importance. Freedom of expression is essential for democracy, social justice, and accountability. What is democracy? Democracy is a government for the people, of the people, and by the people. Social justice is the equal distribution of materials and resources to the citizens. And what is accountability? Accountability is the responsibility to be held responsible for one's action. And how can this be achieved if you don't speak out? Which is why you and all of us, we need to speak out so that our voice can be heard. Freedom of expression is crucial for a healthy democracy whereby the people can be informed, participate in governance, and hold those in power responsible. platforms have proven to be very vital for the voice of the marginalized to be heard, for the voice of the youth to be heard, and for the voice of change makers to make change in this country. Freedom of expression is the only platform where you can advocate for your rights, speak against corruption, and participate in governance.
Of course, freedom of expression is the fulcrum of all other freedom, as it gives expression to the demands by the citizen of various other rights that is meant for the enjoyment of the Nigerian citizen. And because, of course, it is through this medium that Nigerians are able to express their demand, that they are able to express their frustration, the government found it as a masthead, and they have consistently and constantly made policies that seeks to undermine these lustrous legal provisions. Of course, in senile crime, criminal defamation is already being decriminalized. Countries like Sri Lanka, countries like South Africa, countries like Argentina, they're already decriminalizing defamation. And we thought we have it all good when defamation was decriminalized in Lagos State in 2011. We thought that is going to give an expression to the refurbishment of our legal system in Nigeria, just to have the section 24 of the Cybercrime Act, which had certain provisions that are very, very vague and have been used by the Nigerian government to suppress the right of expression by the citizen. Such terms as harassment, insult, cyber stalking, of course, are bereft of definitions. In 2022, the ECOWAS Court of Justice held that Section 24 of the Cybercrime Act is not in conformity with the Nigeria obligation under international treaties such as the African Charter for Human and People's Rights and the International Covenant for Civil and Political Rights. This provision of the law had been used by the Nigerian government to suppress dissenting opinion. Popular case of Favour, where he was arrested for cyber stalking and other series of offences under the Cybercrime Act, and he was subjected to national ridicule just for these charges to be withdrawn later. It is very, very sad because the provisions of the Cybercrime Act is supposed to be in reaction to the publication of the Nigerian Communication Commission, where they allege that over $500 million is lost yearly to internet fraud. While the provision is supposed to curtail internet fraud, this provision is used to curtail freedom of expression even more than its primary purpose. Interestingly, the only way to correct this ugly menace is not to succumb to the demand of the government. It's of course by keeping expressing, because it is only through freedom of expression that we can demand for our rights. So, just so you know, that freedom of expression is not a privilege. It is a right, an innate right, an inherent right that you get as a result of being human. And because of that, every reasonable Nigerian, every stakeholder, every policy maker must take conscious steps to make sure that freedom of expression is promoted, because it is only through freedom of expression that we can demand for accountability. It is only through freedom of expression that we can act for a just society. It is only through freedom of expression that other rights could be assured.
Yes, your freedom ends where another starts. The Constitution allows the government to place restriction on freedom of expression in interest of national security, public order, and public safety. Defamation is the publication of false statements made to injure a person's reputation or to ridicule the person. Even in a democratic state like Nigeria, no one has the right to damage another's reputation through falsehood.
Hi everyone. This is an important conversation to have. What's your thought? Like, comment, and share the video. Thank you.
Freedom of expression is a right and not a privilege. This is UniJos Law Clinic. Thank you.